Have you ever sat in a room and realized you had spent your whole life waiting for something without knowing what it was? This is the story of Martha. She was 74 years old, and she was about to find out. The corridor smelled of antiseptic and old coffee, the kind of smell that makes you feel like time has slowed down on purpose. Martha sat in the third chair from the left. She didn't know why the third one, she just always chose it. For 30 years, whenever she came to this hospital, first for her mother, then for her husband, then for herself, it was always the third chair.
Third chair, like it was waiting for me.
Outside, through the long, frosted window, the city moved the way cities always do. Busy, indifferent, beautiful in a way that only lonely people ever notice.
I have been waiting my whole life. I just never stopped to ask, what for?
She was 23. It was a Thursday afternoon in July. The kind of afternoon where the air smells like cut grass and something baking 2 houses down. She was sitting on the porch of her parents' house, holding a glass of lemonade that had long gone warm in her hand. And a young man named Edward leaned against the railing and said something that wasn't particularly clever.
I don't even remember what he said. Something about the clouds, something silly.
But she remembered laughing, really laughing, the kind that makes your whole chest feel like summer. And she remembered how he looked at her when she laughed.
Like I was the only still thing in a spinning world. I fell in love with the way he looked at me, before I ever fell in love with him.
That was Edward. 51 years of marriage. And in all that time, he never stopped looking at her that way. There were years of beautiful noise after that. A house that always smelled like something on the stove. Children, 2 daughters, who grew up too fast, the way children always do when you are paying attention to everything else. She worked, she raised them. She sat up late at the kitchen table helping with homework she barely understood. She drove to every school play, every graduation, every wedding.
I gave everything I had. And somehow, it was never enough to fill the days. There was always more to give.
There were hard years, too. Years that asked more of her than she thought she had. When Edward got sick the first time, she learned what it meant to be strong for someone else, to hold yourself together with both hands every single day, so the other person didn't have to watch you fall apart.
You don't think about it. You just do it. Because love isn't a feeling. Love is a decision you make again and again and again, even on the days when it costs you everything.
The warmth has drained away. The doctor's door was still closed. She looked down at her hands. These hands, the same ones that had held Edward through his last winter. Sitting beside him in a room not so different from this corridor, listening to the sound of machines doing the work that hearts used to do alone.
I talked to him the whole time, even when the doctor said he couldn't hear me anymore. I talked to him anyway.
Because that's what you do. When you have loved someone for 50 years, you keep talking. You keep showing up. You keep choosing them, even after they are gone.
I have spent 74 years waiting for things. Waiting for love. Waiting for the children to be safe. Waiting for the pain to pass. Waiting for a phone call. Waiting for a door to open. I always thought there was more time. More time to say the things I hadn't said. More time to sit still and just be grateful.
One tear ran down her cheek. She didn't wipe it away. She just let it fall, the way rain falls. because it has nowhere else to go. She sat with that feeling for a long time, not fighting it, not running from it, just sitting with it, the way you sit with an old friend you haven't seen in years. And slowly, something shifted. She thought about what she would do if the news was good. She would call her daughter, the younger one, the one she sometimes forgot to call back. She would say, "Come for dinner on Sunday." Nothing more, just come.
And if the news was not good, I would still call. I would still say, "Come for dinner on Sunday. Set an extra place. Bring the children."
She realized that the answer didn't change what mattered. The table would be set either way. The people she loved would come either way. And she would sit at the head of it and look at every single face and try to remember to be grateful.
That's enough. That has always been enough.
We all have corridors we sit in, moments where everything stops and all we can do is fold our hands and wait. Maybe you are waiting for a phone call right now. Maybe for a result, a letter, a person to walk back through a door. Maybe you have been waiting for someone to tell you that the life you built, the ordinary, imperfect, beautiful life you built, was enough. It was enough. It is enough. You are enough. Tell me in the comments what you are waiting for, or what you have spent your life building. I read every single one, every word. The door opened. The doctor said her name. Martha. She stood up slowly, smoothed her coat, and walked in. A life is not measured by what you were waiting for. It is measured by how beautifully you waited. Martha had waited beautifully. If Martha's story touched your heart, please share it with someone you love and subscribe. Every week we tell one more story, because every life deserves to be heard.